Michael. I don't think you know me. My name is Teri Wassel, and I am the registered dietitian with the county. But I heard your name about the compost, and thank you. Well, tonight we're going to do two football snacks. First one is a carrot bacon. Yes, it's not made out of pork. And the second one is a crunchy baked kale chip. You can say to yourself, I don't really like kale. But tonight, after what I show you how to prepare it, you will probably want to try it because it's very delicious. So let's get started. I washed my hands. The first thing you should do always before you prepare food is wash your hands for 20 seconds. I used hot water and I used soap. And I sang happy birthday twice. And to dry it, I'm using a paper towel because that's what you should use. If you use a cloth towel, there's already bacteria snuck into these little fibers. So you do not want to use a cloth towel when you wash your hands. Because when you're done drying your hands with the paper towel, you can easily just throw it away. So I'm going to start by making the carrot bacon. And the recipe calls for 2 carrots. And I have one that's already peeled, and I have one that isn't peeled. So the first thing you should do is wash the carrots and make sure that it's free of dirt. Then you take your regular peel and you just peel it like you would, because you want to get all the bruises and all the layer of the skin off. And the best slicer you should use for these carrot bacon slices is a mandolin slicer, and it looks like this. And you can buy it in any variety store, Target, Walmart, and I think the price is around, it's pretty a little bit expensive. It's like $10. But if you like the bacon, carrot bacon, then it's worth the purchase. So what I did is to save time, I sliced some carrots up. And what you do is you slice the carrots the long way. So if you did buy the mandolin slicer, I'm just going to put it in my container. You take the carrot and you just make long strips with it all the way across. So you get the whole carrot in the slicer. And what happens is that you will have slices like this. And depending on how thick your slices are, that will determine how long you leave it in the air fryer. The recipe calls for 5 minutes, but it might take longer if you have thick slices of the carrot. So I have some carrot slices already in a glass bowl, and now I'm going to make the marinade. What you have to have for the marinade is liquid smoke, and you need 2 tablespoons of liquid smoke. So if you do more than 2 carrots, like if you do 4, then you would just double the marinade. So I'm using a teaspoon, so I have to use 3 teaspoons. Now I'm going to double the marinade. So I am using 2 tablespoons of liquid smoke, which you can buy in the grocery store, you can buy in a variety store. The next thing you want to add is maple syrup, but you have to buy the pure maple syrup. You shouldn't buy imitation. It doesn't have the same flavor, so you want to make sure that it's pure. And you use 2 tablespoons of the maple syrup. And I'm going to double the recipe, so I'm going to use 4. So far, I used liquid smoke and maple syrup. Then I'm going to add a teaspoon of garlic powder, because the recipe calls for a half a teaspoon, but since I'm doubling the recipe, I need 1 teaspoon. Then I'm going to use a teaspoon of onion powder. And this isn't onion salt. This is onion powder. And once again, I'm going to use a teaspoon because I'm going to double the recipe. And then I'm going to use a half a teaspoon of smoked paprika. And my paprika is from Hungary. It's Hungarian smoked paprika. So I need to use a half a teaspoon. I'll put that in. And then I'm going to use a half a teaspoon of black pepper. So the marinade is black pepper, pure maple syrup, garlic powder, onion powder, and liquid smoke. And then I'm going to take a whisk, and I'm just going to, and then you also have paprika too. I'm going to take a whisk, and I'm just going to blend it all together. And then I'm going to pour it over the carrot slices. And this has to marinate. The recipe says for 2 minutes. So while it is marinating, I'm going to preheat my air fryer. The recipe says for 380 for 5 minutes. So I'm going to press my air fryer button. I'm going to make sure that the time is 5 minutes. I'm going to make sure it says 380, which is the degrees, and then I'm going to push start because it has to preheat. So while this is marinating, one way to get the flavors inside the carrots is to take a fork and then just put the carrot through the fork through the carrot so it punctures it, and the marinade can go through the carrot. Because you want the marinade not only on the outside, but you want it in the inside as well. And I don't know, but I'll show you how the carrots look after I put a fork through them. You just put holes throughout the carrots. And then you just continue to marinate it while the air fryer is preheating. Okay, I'm going to leave this here. And what I did do is that I already marinated some slices of carrot, and I have them on my air fryer plate. So when the air fryer is ready to go, all I have to do is put it in there. But while we're waiting for that, I'm going to turn the camera over to the kale because I'm going to show you what you have to do for the crunchy baked kale chips.
And Teri, can you make the carrot bacon like in the oven if you don't have an air fryer?
Well, the recipe calls for air fryer. I'm sure you can. I just don't know what temperature you would use because it would have to be higher to make the carrot crunchy, and so it's probably 425, but you have to adjust the time.
Okay.
Yeah. So can you see me over here? Okay.
Yes, looks good.
So the first thing you do is you have the kale. And this is just kale I got at the market. But with kale, you have this grip that goes down through it. So what you do is you wash the kale, and then you have to dry it really well because you don't want to put it in the oven when it's still wet. And that's what I did over here. This has been laid out on paper towels and it's completely dry. So you want to take out that middle rib because you don't want to put that in the oven to make the chips. You can either do it, I have two ways. You can use a cutting board, take a paring knife, and just cut on the outside of that middle rib, as I'm doing right here. Then you can throw it in a bowl. Once again, you can put it on a cutting board and just cut on the outside. Now, if you want to do it another method, I like taking it with my two thumbs and just ripping it off that middle stem. That way, I don't have to use a knife and I can break it off into bite-sized pieces already, away from the rib. See what I'm doing? The top you can just pop off. Okay, I just have to put in the bacon as it's calling me. Put it in there. And that's gonna be in the air fryer now for 5 minutes. So once again, you take a piece of kale, you put it in your thumbs are on the outside of it, and you just rip it away from the middle rib. So after you have all this kale in a bowl, you want to make sure that it's bite-sized pieces. And that's what I'm doing now. I'm just ripping it apart to make sure that I have bite-sized pieces. Now, kale is very good for you. It's very high in fiber, and it's also high in calcium. So if you are intolerant of milk and dairy products, and you have to get your recommendation or your requirement of calcium, you can use kale as a substitute. So all these pieces now are into bite-sized pieces, and I'm going to just sprinkle. Recipe calls for canola oil, but you can also use olive oil if you have that at home. And you just drizzle, and make sure you don't put too much. You just drizzle a little bit on top. Then you have to mix it with your hand. So we all have gloves now because of COVID. Or you can just use your bare hand. And you just mix it around so the kale is covered, with the oil. As you can see, I'm doing right now. As soon as it's all covered, you just take your seasoning. Let's take my glove off for this, which is, you can use salt. You can use any kind of seasoning. I found this ranch powder seasoning in Walmart, but you can find it in the grocery store, or you can get buffalo seasoning if you like spicy chips, or you can just use some seasoned salt or just table salt. So I'm going to use a little bit of salt because that really brings out the flavor of your vegetables. And I'm going to use some buffalo. And I'm just going to sprinkle it on top. And then I'm going to put my glove back on to mix it around and make sure that it's evenly coated. As you can see, that I'm doing that. Then you just take a cookie sheet, and it doesn't have to have grease on it. And you just spread it out in a single layer. excuse me, my air fryer is telling me to turn over the carrot bacon. So I'm just going to take my hot mitt, because when you use an air fryer, the pan is going to be hot. I'm going to take this fork. I'm going to switch hands. Oops. And you can see at this point, the bacon is starting to, the carrot bacon slices are starting to shrivel up like a regular piece of bacon, except carrot bacon has no fat, no cholesterol, and it's healthy for you. So I'm just gonna flip over the pieces. Make sure that they're flipped, and then put it back in my air fryer for the remaining amount of time. So I'll go back to the kale now. So the kale can now be put into the oven on 350 degrees for 10 to 15 minutes. You should check it after 10 minutes though, to see whether it's done. And if it's not done, just leave it in until it's completely, it looks like it's completely crunchy, and you can feel it too. So I have already prepared some baked kale chips for you. And this is how it looks when it comes out of the oven. And I don't know if you can hear this, but I'm going to get up on my stool and I'm going to put one in my mouth, and you'll hear how crunchy kale chips are. Do you hear that?
Yes, we hear it.
And it's delicious too.
Teri, how would you store these after they're cooked? Like if, you're not going to eat all of them at once.
Well, the recipe does say, excuse me, I don't want the recipe does say that you should eat it warm. They don't really, if you don't eat the whole thing, you can put them in a plastic bag, but they start to deteriorate in texture the longer that you keep them. So in my recommendation, you should just really eat them as soon as you take them out of the oven and they're cool, because it has oil, and the oil doesn't stay on the kale that long. So, okay. So now the carrot bacon is done. And I'll show you, I already made some. So it does look like regular bacon. As you can see, I took it out of the air fryer. It's crunchy, just like regular bacon. And it has a delicious, delicious flavor. And it tastes really, really good. So, won't you give it a try? Does anybody have any questions? Okay. Then Shanita and Cassidy, take it away.
Thanks, Teri. Those looked really good. Now I'm hungry. All right, so we are gonna play Super Bowl trivia. I think there are 20 questions total. And if you don't know sports like me, it's fine because you don't need any sports knowledge for this. Let me see if I can share my screen. Perfect. Can everybody see that PowerPoint?
Yes.
Yes, okay. And do you guys just want to go through each question and then I can give the answer as we go, or do you want to wait till the end? Any preference? I don't think we're a really competitive group, right? All right, so
Maybe just wait to the end, possibly.
wait till the end. Okay. All right. So I'll give you maybe like a few seconds for each question to go through. And if you want to maybe write the answers down, or if you have your phone with you, just type them out real quick. Or you could put them in the chat too, if you don't have anything available, and then we'll go through the answers at the end. All right, so question number 1. What percentage of Tom Brady's diet consists of vegetables and whole grains? 20%, 50%, 75%, or 80%? Tammy said 80%. Give it a few more seconds.
Are we supposed to reply in the comments?
Yeah, you could put it in the chat. Or if you want to like write it down yourself, and then at the end we'll go through the answers, and you guys can just use the honor system and tally up how many you got correct. Let's see, Doretha said 75%. Give it about 10 more seconds. All right. Next question. JJ Watts eats a whopping 9,000 calories a day, which can sometimes consist of 50 slices of bacon, not carrot bacon, 20 chicken breasts, and 13 of this type of fruit. And your options are bananas, avocados, apples, or peaches. Let's see, Tammy said bananas. That's so much food. Wow. 9,000 calories, but I guess they need it. I always wonder though if these athletes eat that way like all year round, but I don't really know. Do they train all year round? I guess so.
I think they do, yeah.
That makes sense. That's crazy. Someone said avocados. All right, moving on to the next question. How many pounds of guacamole will be eaten on Super Bowl Sunday? Is it 50 million, 2 million, 100 million, or 20 million pounds? I think Tammy said A, 50 million. I didn't really think that many people ate guacamole on Super Bowl Sunday, but I guess it's popular. Give it a few more seconds. All right, next question. Oh, someone said 100 million, Doretha. All right, number 4. How many baby carrots would you have to eat to get the same amount of calories as 5 ounces of Doritos, which equals about 700 calories? Is it 175 baby carrots, 100, 225, or 500? And 5 ounces of Doritos is, Shanita, what did I say earlier? I think it's about half.
Yeah, half of a regular bag. And you were talking about like a personal bag, right?
Oh no, I think it's half of like the regular
Family size?
bag. Yeah.
Yeah, Cassidy, that was me. And that was a half a bag of the regular size, because I wanted to know what 5 ounces was.
Yeah, the little personal bags are, I think, like 1.75 ounces. All right. Okay, next question. How many celery sticks would you have to eat to get the same amount of calories as 5 ounces of Doritos? 575. Oh, go ahead, Michael.
Oh, I didn't know you guys can hear me.
Oh, that's okay.
I said, whoa, because it's a lot.
I know. All the options are a lot. 575, 700, 200, or 500. And I'll give you a hint. Well, it's kind of obvious. Celery is actually lower in calories than carrots. All right, 5 more seconds. Teresa said D. I think Tammy said D to this one too, 500. Okay. All right, 6. How many football fields would you have to run across to burn off the 5 ounces of Doritos? 27 football fields, 88, 123, or 313? This is the last Doritos related question. And this is no hate against Doritos. They're really delicious. Maybe just not the healthiest. All right, I'll give about 5 more seconds. See 2 different answers so far, 88 and 123. Okay. All right, number 7, how many calories will the average Super Bowl viewer eat while watching the game? 1,200, 1,600, 900, or 2,100 calories? And what date is Super Bowl Sunday? Does anyone know? I'm not good with sports. It's coming up though, and
Is it the 13th?
13th. That sounds right.
Or is it the 7th? I don't think it's Valentine's. I think it's the 7th.
Hey, Google.
Oh,
This is-
okay.
Let's see.
All right. While we're finding that out, I'll move to the next question. Number 8, how many chicken wings are eaten in America on Super Bowl Sunday? So in total in the whole country, is it 80.2 million, 3.5 billion, 20.2 million, or 1.4 billion? Okay, I see 80.2 million. I see 20.2 million. Those chicken wings look good. Oh my gosh.
They do.
Okay, I see both of you put 20.2 million. Okay, next question. How many chicken breasts, so like grilled chicken breasts, would you have to eat to get the same amount of fat as 12 buffalo wings? So 20 chicken breasts, 8, 12, or 19? Doritos said 20, Tammy said 19. Give it a few more seconds. All right, next question. What is the most consumed snack on Super Bowl Sunday? Is it our Doritos, pretzels, potato chips, or crackers? Tammy said potato chips. I don't know what that football is. It looks like some kind of cheese thing.
I wonder if it's a meatloaf or something. Like it looks like it has celery in it or something.
Yeah, there's green stuff in it. I don't know what that is. Doritos said potato chips also. Okay, next question. How many total pounds of snacks do Americans eat on Super Bowl Sunday? 33 million pounds, 24 million, 50 million, or 15 million? See for okay, Tammy. All right, a few more seconds. All right, next question. What is the #1 takeout food that is ordered on Super Bowl Sunday? Noodles, sandwiches, tacos, or pizza? I feel like there's 2 answers that might be tricky for this one. Tammy said D. I think Doritos said D as well. All right, next question. What is former Giants punter Steve Weatherford's favorite plant-based meal? So this meal would not have any meat in it. Is it a mushroom wrap, a black bean and quinoa burger, veggie tacos, or stuffed peppers? And me and Chinita were talking about this when we were creating the game and the questions, that a lot of athletes, especially like endurance athletes, are actually like vegetarian and vegans because plant-based diets actually help with their recovery much quicker, which is pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they'll when you look it up, a lot of times they'll say like the white flour and stuff and eating the grains is just, I guess it makes your muscles and things a little softer. Like it's not really giving you that protein and stuff that you need to build up the muscles that an athlete would need.
Yeah, it's surprising because we always think athletes like are going to be eating tons of like meat and eggs and protein powder, but sometimes they don't eat any of that at all. So it's pretty interesting. All right, next question. True or false? The Super Bowl is the largest food holiday in the US. True or false? So I guess the holiday where people eat the most amount of food in the holiday really focuses on food. All right, next question. Doritha said false. All right, 15. Who won the first Super Bowl held in 1967? Was it the Kansas City Chiefs, the Green Bay Packers, the New York Jets, and the Miami Dolphins? And I think the Jets were actually the New Jersey Jets back then. I feel like that was their name. Tammy said Green Bay Packers. I'll give it 10 more seconds. All right, next question. Which city held the coldest Super Bowl ever? Was it New Orleans, Chicago, Cleveland, or Denver? Tammy said Chicago. Doritha said New Orleans. Give 5 more seconds. I think that picture is Iowa State. All right, next question. Which player has the most Super Bowl rings in history? Joe Montana, Reggie White, Tom Brady, or Jerry Rice? Tammy said Joe Montana. Doritha said Reggie White. All right, 3 more questions. Number 18. How many pounds does the Lombardi Trophy weigh? And that's it in the picture for size reference. Is it 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 5 pounds, or 7 pounds? Guess it's made out of, I don't know,
Yeah,
some type of metal. Yeah, maybe stainless steel. I don't know. I didn't even know what this was. I didn't realize they got a trophy.
Yeah, I think whoever wins the Super Bowl, then because I always see at the end like the coach and the players come around, they're holding up the trophy.
I'm bad. I turn it off like when that happens once the commercials are done. All right, number 19. How much did a ticket for the first Super Bowl cost? So that was 1967. Was it $8, $12, $18, or $27? Whereas now I think it's like thousands of dollars, like over 3,000. I think that's crazy. Let's see. Tammy said $8, or Doritha said 27. Tammy said 18. Okay. All right. And the last question is, the most expensive Super Bowl ad ever was for which item? Was it the MacBook Pro, which is a laptop, Kindle Fire, the Amazon Alexa, or a Toyota Prius? So the most expensive ad. And I forget what I read online, but I think just for 20 seconds, it's like 1 point something million dollars to have an ad. And that's just for one ad. So if a brand is repeatedly having ads, they're paying millions, which I'm sure is nothing to them.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the beginning and we're going to go through the answers. You can check off which ones you've gotten right. Okay. Let me start. Okay. So number one, what percentage of Tom Brady's diet consists of vegetables and whole grains? The answer was D, 80%. So 80% is vegetables and whole grains, and then 20% are lean meats, like chicken breast, fish, turkey. So that's pretty interesting. So he's pretty much plant-based, his diet. All right, number two, what was the type of fruit that he eats 13 of? JJ Watts. And that was actually avocados. So he eats 13 avocados a day, which is a lot because avocados are really healthy, but they do have a lot of fat in them. So yeah, 13 is a lot, but he does, and he eats the bacon and the chicken breast. Wow. And avocados are technically fruits because they have that pit in the middle, which is a seed. All right, number three, how many pounds of guacamole will be eaten? 100 million pounds. That was surprising. As me and Chanita went through all of these questions and answers, we were like shocked at how much. All right, number four, how many baby carrots do you have to eat to get the same amount of calories as 5 ounces or half a bag of Doritos? And that was 175 baby carrots, which is really crazy when you think about it. Okay, number five was how many celery sticks do you have to eat to get the same amount of calories from the 5 ounces of Doritos? And that was 700. And that's because one celery stick is about 1 calorie. That's crazy too. 700 celery sticks equals half a bag of Doritos. Okay, number six, how many football fields would you have to run across to burn off those 5 ounces of Doritos? 123 football fields, which is, that's a lot. Yeah.
It's a lot of work to get rid of half a bag of Doritos.
I know.
Are you kidding me?
I know. We were
It's
like,
not even worth it.
I know. On that one day it is. Honestly,
Oh,
I have
boy.
eaten half a bag of Doritos before by myself, so it's sad to think of. Okay, number seven, how many calories will the average Super Bowl viewer eat while watching the game? That was 1,200 calories, especially if you're eating those Doritos. Number eight was how many chicken wings, individual wings, are eaten on Super Bowl Sunday, and that was actually 1.4 billion chicken wings. And I think it said that this was one of the most popular, not snacks, but just one of the most popular foods eaten on Super Bowl Sunday. Number nine, how many chicken breasts would you have to eat to get the same amount of fat as 12 buffalo wings? And that was 19 chicken breasts. So that's kind of crazy when you think about it. And that's just because chicken breasts are leaner, so they don't have as much fat as a deep fried chicken wing. All right, number 10, what is the most consumed snack on Super Bowl Sunday? Potato chips, which I think most people in the chat had gotten right. Number 11 was how many total pounds of snacks do Americans eat on Super Bowl Sunday? And that was 33 million pounds of snacks. Okay. Number 12. What is the number one takeout food ordered on Super Bowl Sunday? And that was pizza. I think I saw that in the chat earlier. I thought it would have been subs or like sandwiches. That's just like what my family always gets on that day. So I just assumed everyone did that. But pizza makes sense too. 13, what is Steve Weatherford's favorite plant-based meal? And that was a black bean quinoa burger. And quinoa is a grain, if you haven't had it before. It's really yummy. It's kind of like a rice. 14, true or false? The Super Bowl is the largest food holiday in the US. It's false. Does anyone know what the first one is? Biggest food holiday.
Is it Valentine's Day?
No, but that's actually a good point
Because
because
it's
everyone,
chocolate. I don't know. Don't we all have-
Thanksgiving.
yes, Michael, Thanksgiving is the number one.
Oh, Thanksgiving.
And the Super Bowl is actually the second largest food holiday, even though it's not really a holiday. But yeah, it's the second. That was a good point though, Teri. I didn't think of the chocolate on Valentine's Day. All right, 15, who won the first Super Bowl in 1967? And that was the Green Bay Packers. I think I saw Tammy get this one right. And they beat the Kansas City Chiefs in 1967. 16, which city held the coldest Super Bowl ever? Surprisingly, it was New Orleans, which I would have never guessed. And I think, Doritha, you got that one right. You had said New Orleans. I thought it would have been like Denver or Cleveland, because New Orleans, I didn't think they had bad winters there. All right, number 17. Which player has the most Super Bowl rings in history? That was Tom Brady. He'll probably be at this Super Bowl again this year. Okay, number 8.
No, you didn't hear? He's not going to the Super Bowl.
Oh,
they
really?
lost.
Oh, nice. It's great. I know a lot of people don't like him, so. All right, number 18. How much does the Lombardi Trophy weigh? 7 pounds. Weighs about 7 pounds. 19. How much did a ticket for the first Super Bowl cost? And that was $12. Too bad it's still not $12. And then number 20 was, what was the most expensive Super Bowl ad? And that was actually for the Amazon Alexa. And I think that was like 3 years ago, they said. They ran so many commercials for it. And I forgot to mention this early for number 10 for the question that was, what is the most consumed snack on Super Bowl Sunday, which was potato chips. There was a fact in there. It said the amount of fat that is consumed in all of the potato chips eaten on Super Bowl Sunday in America, which is about 1.8 billion grams of fat, is equivalent to the weight of 13,000 offensive linemen. I thought that was interesting how they came up with that math. All right. Did anybody get like above a 10 on score? If you kept track of your score?
No way.
I know they were hard questions. Like you would just really never know. You would just have to guess.
Michael, just think of all the knowledge that you gained.
Yeah, all I know is that I'm hungry.
Right? Well, now we can all go eat.